Right now we're going to welcome in Mark Trible of the Courier Post. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Sully.
What's happening, boss?
Hey, man, just getting ready for another exciting day of South Jersey football.
Hey, before we get started, my co-host here, Nick Costco, young guy, just out of college, he doesn't believe me that when you start getting dragged off to these fall things with the girlfriend, you're pretty much done. Hayrides, pumpkin pickings.
I would say that's probably the case, judging by the amount of friends I've had get married in the last 5 years. That happened to all of them as a big red flag warning sign. That was the first thing to go. Sometimes you got to listen to your elders. I think we both probably learned that the hard way, Sully. So Nick, you got to listen to Sully, man. He knows what he's talking about.
Although I don't know if you want to take advice from a guy who's 46 and single. That's probably not the way to go.
Hey, you're the one that divulged those details, Sully. I was just going to give you all the credit, man. But
I like to spin it.
Mark's trying to help you out over there.
I like to spin it and say I'm living the dream.
Yeah, maybe you're living someone's dream. You never really know, Sully.
But I always joke with my brother. He's been married for about 15 years now. So, but when he was dating his now wife, I would always joke. I mean, once you get dragged off to New Hope, man, that's it.
That's the end of the. That's the end of the race.
Just punch your time card, man. You're done.
Oh, that's great.
Always a good time here on the South Jersey Sports Report with Trible.
It always is, man. You never know what you're going to get. You tune in to listen to some football, and hear about some football.
Talking life, talking fashion.
We'll talk some pumpkin spice coffee next week too. I think.
Are you into that, Costco?
No, absolutely. Black only.
Just straight.
Thank you, Nick. 100%, brother.
No cream, no sugar, no fillers.
No, absolutely
nothing.
not.
Straight out of 1975.
Yeah, black straight out of 1955. I mean, come on, black coffee only.
I got all the respect in the world for Nick.
No, appreciate
I just want to say that.
Although I appreciate that. The only non-black coffee I drink. I have a protein coffee. It's called Chike, so that has some flavor to it, and it's technically iced, but there's protein in it, so I don't totally count that as drinking non-black coffee. But other than that, just give me a cup of Joe, nothing in it. That's it.
Straight, no filters.
That's right.
So Mark, we were talking about how it's coming up on flannel weather, and Nick kind of gave me a sideways look like flannel. I was hearkening back to my Pearl Jam days in '93.
Yeah, flannel's still in some places of the world, Sully. I'm sure there are locales where everybody's wearing flannel in a couple weeks.
Now, I haven't done enough curls lately to rock the sleeveless flannel. That's a whole different level.
That's a level I don't even know exists, dude.
It exists at country concerts.
Sleeveless flannel like lumberjacks in the summertime. I mean, I don't know how to deal with that. I don't even know how to approach that, Sully. I really don't. I've never met a man who wore a sleeveless lumberjack flannel shirt, and if I did, I would probably run the other way.
Yeah, you haven't spent much time in North Carolina, then, have you?
I've spent some time there, but not in the right or the wrong place.
Down in my college days, man, those sleeveless flannels, man, that was the thing. Yo, Schweimer just walked in. Schweimer, have you ever rocked a sleeveless flannel?
A sleeveless flannel, never.
Nah, he's a Collingswood guy.
I do agree with you with Costco. He better watch himself going these pumpkin patches.
Costco better watch himself.
Put a fork in it.
Going apple picking.
Sports guy.
Schweimer said you're a sports guy. Get away from that apple picking.
Apple picking. Too late.
Right.
So Mark, let's talk a little. Let's get back on track here.
Let's do a sports show here.
Just real quick.
Hold on, Schweimer.
I'm devastated that my Collingswood High School stadium was demolished.
Yeah, we heard about that last week, Schweimer. Collingswood Stadium. He's still lamenting.
I'm bummed out. My heart's broken.
He's heartbroken that the Collingswood Stadium's getting torn down.
Played there. My father played there under Skeets Irvine.
Skeets Irvine?
Yeah, Skeets.
I'm guessing they didn't give him a call before they decided to do it, huh?
No reason to consult Schweimer on any kind of town business. He's not in that loop.
Last night. Take that in solace, man. They beat Deptford 14-7.
They beat. He said, "Take some solace." They beat Deptford.
We lost to them in a group.
So, Trible, what's going on in your neck of the woods? High school football. Give us the lowdown.
Oh man, same thing that's going on everywhere. Just getting cranked up here about mid-season, just about. This will be the fourth week in the books after the Wilson Cedar Creek game today. So, I think we've seen kind of who our contenders are and who the pretenders are, and we're going to start moving forward to get some of these big-time matchups down the stretch here, man.
How about my boy Andrew Heck from Eastern, man? 19 of 26 for 399 and 5 TDs. Yeah,
the kid really can play. Obviously, Eastern put up a ton of points last night. I think they hit 60 mark. Heck is a really a tough kid. His sister is one of the best field hockey players in South Jersey. Their father was the basketball coach at Pemberton. Just an athletic family, and so it's no surprise to see him doing well.
She's a big-time recruit, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if did she commit yet, or I'm trying to remember. I know I saw something recently.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that, Sully.
But yeah, she's getting recruited by some of the best teams in the land for college.
Yeah, without a doubt. That Eastern field hockey program is just on its own level. And she's a big part of it this year. So
they're just different.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, Ocean City down here is probably the second best team in South Jersey, and they can't beat them. I mean, that
very few teams have beat them over 15, 20 years. I mean, I don't even know how many losses they have. It's less than 15 or 20.
I think she had maybe 11 in her career.
Yeah,
10, 11 somewhere.
It's remarkable. It's remarkable what they have built over there, and it just continues.
She's like 9,000 games over 500.
Pretty good winning percentage, yeah.
So, any teams? One team that's kind of jumping out at me, Timber Creek. Obviously, they lost Devin Leary, so it's kind of a new era for that team. They beat Vineland 24-10 last night. What can we expect out of this team heading into October?
Well, two great receivers, Javen Little and Tarheeb Still. They always are going to play tough up front. Coach Newsom does a great job in the trenches with those guys. Coach Rob Henson knows how to scheme it up as well. I think that they have found themselves in a little bit of a situation where they want to find out who the quarterback is. I think 4 different guys took snaps last night, and primarily a two-man race. Jefferson being the incumbent, and also Devin Leary's little brother, Donovan Leary, who I believe is a freshman, who also got some snaps. And I think he scored the eventual game-winning touchdown last night running the ball. So Timber Creek is a team that it is an adjustment process, as Kevin said in the last segment, but they're just moving along. They just pick them up and put them down. They know how to win. They know how to get it done. They went on the road last night against Vineland, who's a desperate team, and I think they forced 5 or 6 turnovers. They win a gritty game. Big one this week with Highland on the schedule for Timber Creek. Those schools are not far apart, and it just really should be a great game.
Mark, Millville was really up against it. They were 0-3 to start out with. Obviously played some great teams, but got almost in a must-win situation, even though it's only September 21st last night. But they beat Kingsway 26-7. Is this a team that can maybe turn it around a little bit from a slow start and get in that playoff conversation?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, they're going to be in the playoffs. I would be pretty safe to say that, because the power points they gained from playing St. Joseph and also from playing St. Peter's Prep up north, those parochial multipliers are going to put them in the playoffs. And that's something Dennis Thomas knew when he added St. Peter's Prep to the schedule before the season for that 0 week. So I think they're going to be there. I look around Group 4 in South Jersey. I don't know who. I mean, Shawnee traditionally is the strong team. They lost by 24 points last night at St. Augustine. They lost the week before at Hamilton. So I'm not saying Shawnee's not going to end up a good team. They usually are there at the end. But what I'm saying is it's wide open. And Millville certainly could get there. You can't measure Millville based on their losses, as you alluded to, because they were great teams they played. I mean, Williamstown right now we have at number 3. And not only that, that's the game Williamstown circled for a year to play Millville because they lost them twice the year before, including in the playoffs. Then St. Joe and St. Peter's Prep. I mean, you can't hang your head on those. So I think Millville get the ship righted. They'll be in the playoffs, and they'll be a threat once they get there.
Another team that I think could be a real thorn in the side in Group 2 is Cinnaminson. I mean, I saw them in the preseason against Ocean City. They got some pretty talented guys. Not a ton of depth, but some guys that can make some plays. And in a playoff game, if they're able to sneak in there, 1-2 big plays, they could be one of those teams that upsets and gets into the next round as maybe a 5, 6, 7 type seed.
Yeah, they're in a position like some schools that aren't in these major conferences or major divisions. When you look at kind of the top 3 divisions and how tough they can be in the West Jersey Football League, they're not in that division, but they're in a position where they lost to Haddonfield. They were shut out by Haddonfield last Friday. Now they have some weeks to try to get things together, not just to make the playoffs because they'll be there, but to be able to play with Haddonfield because everybody's chasing Haddonfield right now. I saw Camden last night. They're very good as well. West Deptford will be in the mix. But for Cinnaminson, they saw their measuring stick last weekend. They are a very good team, but they have some things they need to work on to be able to play with Haddonfield because that's where the championship goes through.
Talking to Mark Trible, the Courier Post, and Mark, we're running a little bit short on time here. Looking ahead to next week, what's on your radar as a game or two that we should really be interested in and looking to watch to see what can happen here as we head into October?
Well, it's Highland Timber Creek on Friday night. I think it's a really big game, and I think it's an excellent situation for the community in Gloucester Township. I mean, they're sister schools, and it really should be a big one. Neither one of them has lost to South Jersey this year. Saturday, St. Joseph and Haddonfield. Some people have already said it might be the game of the year. We'll see, but those are the two I would look out for.
Great stuff, as always, Mark. We'll try to cut Minnick a little bit shorter next week, give you a little more time.
If anybody's going to take time out of my segment, I'm glad it's Kevin Sully.
He gets a little he gets on a roll sometimes though, and it's hard to cut him off. But we'll try a little bit harder next week, buddy.
All right, man.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Mark.
Thanks, Sully.